it's always the perception whether it pleases me or it can please me more, or what can I get from it. So the nature of the perception of the system of the will to receive to oneself cannot look at the other truthfully. It cannot perceive the other truthfully. So in that respect, we need to sort of submit or surrender. And usually we recruit at that moment in order to sort of submit or surrender our perception to a different perception. We recruit immediately justice, our perception of justice, because we're saying he's not just, I'm right. So my perception, being egoistic, I cannot, let's say, the bottom line will be, I will not be able to survive in an egoistic world by being altruistic, because I will be eaten alive. Okay? So I justify not even trying to look at the other differently, because what I put in front of myself is my fear of surviving. I will not survive. So I threaten myself with a death. Therefore, I will not have to compel myself to think differently about the other. But then, okay, this is how even when we decide to be very generous and to be altruistic, which is as well not to do with choice. There is I don't know, I don't know who researched it, but that there is some sort of 10% altruistic tendencies through humanity or through living being. But this is as well not something that someone endeavored to acquire to himself in order to sort of subdue or quell their egoistic tendencies. Yeah. So if we come into the study and we come into, because there was a higher awakening in ourselves, and so we look for examples, or look for models, and the first model is creation itself. Creation itself is the ultimate other of the creator. And in that, it is part of him. It's outside of him, but part of him. Is it clear so far what I'm saying?
But creation...
Because the creator, if we look at the intention, and then you will understand in, let's say, in a deeper way. The first intention is to be able to bestow, meaning to give. So the extension of that will is to receive that which the creator wish to give. It's like saying that I will create me because I wish to reach something that is away from me. I will create a hand. Is my hand part of me? And then as well, it is outside of me. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So it is clear that we will perceive the other as something that is outside of ourselves. But the way to reform the perception and the feeling is to understand that it is part of me. So if you look at part, it's like being angry with your hand, or saying that your hand is unjust, it's cruel. Okay? This is usually, now, we are so, first, we're so entangled with our perception and the perception of others, of us as the other, so we cannot actually escape it. Okay, so we recruit inveiglement, which is the property of the serpent. Yeah. So because we think that we will find a way if we sort of adopt the movement of the entanglement. So this is all you'll find it in philosophy, you'll find it in literature, that we're trying to sort of justify our position, and even we say we will admire sort of we will admire non-egoistic act, let's say, for we will determine it as for more people, for country, for tribe, but it is in terms of the possibility that the self as the receiving end will acquire glory, or will acquire, let's say, honor, will acquire the power, or the power of that which he saved or she saved. It's like we live in it's a mentality of spells. Why the mentality of spells? Because we have a memory of the power of the language, and so it sort of fell and diminish itself into sort of a belief in the power of specific people that can influence through language. But through language, and for example, to die with a cry of for country or for friends or for family or for my boy or for my girl is a spell. The spirit of the other is spellbound, it is owing you. Okay? And if it's for many people owe you. Yeah. So we cannot escape it. So the only way to escape it is to get help from what we call higher, from a complete different constitution, and an opposite constitution, in order to acquire its way of perceiving the other. Okay, so it cannot be sort of psychological training, because psychological, mental, moral, you name it, spiritual discipline, what people call it, will always fall under the calculation of the will to receive to oneself. We cannot escape it. Okay? This is why many good, let's say, good intention, many projects, and many development in the world started with good intention, and they cannot but decay under the control of the will to receive to oneself. So maybe this is the most important issue in understanding surrender and intention. It is quite clear that we need to sort of ask for a different foundation of perception of everything, definitely to do with one of the most testing realities, which is the other. How to perceive something that is outside of myself as a part of me. Okay?
As a part of me.
Yeah, it's part of me, not as a reflection of my state or reflection of myself or reflection of my karma. As part, as a complete integrative part of myself, like my hand. Is we live our life looking at our hand as though it is a stranger. This is the perception from above, okay? Because the other is an outside entity, which actually, if I would perceive it correctly, would be part of the web that is myself, part of the definition of myself. The separation is caused by the perception. It creates a reality of separation. Not that the reality is not reality. The reality is the fruit of our intention. And therefore, the righteous one is intending with the opposite vector of from humanity. This is why Noach is different.
So you cannot expect to have sorry, a different reaction when you're with the other, unless
you don't expect to have a different reaction. You expect to be able to look at your reaction and name it. Give it the proper name. It's an egoistic, self-interest way of okay. So and then you see that you are trapped in it, and then you really need help.
I do, because I react according to my vision, and
this is what forms prayer, a true need. And it's not true before you sort of pin down the fact that everywhere I look through a very with the intention of using. Yes, of using or misusing. So if I see that, I need the study. I need the prayer. Otherwise, I don't need it.
I realize that even my best intention is because I want to control something or manipulate something or get something out of it.
So this is why we need, when we go to study Torah, we need to revisit our intention. And this is why we start with surrender. Surrender to what? First, to the fact that we are coming with, we don't have anything from ourselves that has to do with bestowal or has to do with giving something with the intention of not getting back some reward. So first, it's an admission. Surrender first is an admission of my state and my inability to do it by myself. So I need everything that is sort of building the environment and the ecology that will. It's the higher through the study. It's the prayer that actually sort of set up the new intention. Okay, and one can say the way I would perceive my lower part is what I will learn from those who ask me question, or those who actually dare or question my perception, which is basically my friends.